This presentation outlines the story of a community-based humanitarian organization working in Nigeria and the organizational vision through which it pursues its work. Rather than focusing on abstract goals, the vision is grounded in tangibles of ongoing activity that meet the basic human needs and provide the basis of a long-term stability through the local leadership. The organizational approach recognizes that to have a sustainable impact cannot be achieved through a one-off. Instead, it involves systems that restores dignity, dulls vulnerability, and strengthens communities on a long-term basis. Looking forward 5 years, the vision is about expanding what has been done and done well without losing accountability, trust, and responsiveness to the beneficiaries. This account is expressed with awareness that various stakeholders related to the innovation in different ways, and that competent leadership has to express the vision in such a way that it would resonate across such differences. To understand this, how this vision is lived out in practice, it is important to begin with one of the most immediate realities families face in their daily lives. One of the immediate problems that face many families in Nigeria is the issue of safe, reliable energy for daily living. In households that have no access to cooking fuel, open fire cooking is often the only option. This method is time-consuming, physically demanding, and dangerous, especially for widows, the elderly, and children. Besides, open fire cooking puts families at a risk of health problems caused by smoke inhalation and increased susceptibility to accidents. The organization solved this problem by purchasing one of the local mini gas plants. Excuse me. Thus making it possible to distribute cooking gas to the families who couldn't afford to buy fuel on their own. This initiative is not just changing the source of energy, but it is changing daily lives. Access to gas reduces physical strain, improves safety, and gives a sense of dignity to even the routine household activities. At the organizational level, the initiative is a model of how housing investments is in infrastructure can show immediate improvements in quality of life and can also be used usually as a more immediate appeal to innovators and early adopters because it demonstrably disruptive to harmful norms by offering a safe and sustainable alternative. Beyond meeting physical needs, the organization also understands that dignity and belonging are essential to long-term community strengths. Community cohesion is an important compound for a long-term resilience. In many of the Nigerian communities, local churches are not just spiritual centers, but social anchors. Youth participation in community events may be limited by economic factors, such as not being able to afford clothing to attend special events. Although seemingly minor, such exclusion is a reinforcement marginalization. The organization works with the churches to improve participation of youth by providing clothes for activities such as youth days. The initiative ensured that young people would be able to interact fully and confidently with their peers. From the leadership perspective, this action is an evidence of understanding that it is this inclusion that is the foundational in community strength. Supporting youth identity and belonging helps in the sustained engagement, trust, and leadership development of youth. Early adopters tend to react positively to these initiatives as they visibly strengthen shared values and social cohesion, making the overall vision both credible and human. While inclusion strengthens community bonds, the stability also depends on having a safe place to live. Safe housing is a basic pillar to the stability of society. A significant number of households in the region still live in dwellings affected by armed conflict. Environmental risks or chronic neglect. Such precarious housing conditions increase health risks and expose the family to ecological risks and hinder economic recovery. Accordingly, the organization has focused its attention on the reconstruction of the dwellings of vulnerable households, particularly those that are managed by widows or caregivers with limited resources. Household reconstruction is not envisioned as a charity, but an investment into community resilience. By getting the families back into secure shelter, they gain the stability necessary to enable them to pursue education, employment, and civic engagement. From the point of view of the institution, thus activity is in the case of strategic foresight. Housing projects require the right amount of planning, collaboration, and accountability, and as a result send a strong signal to the stakeholders in the early majority who value evidence, organizational rigor, and quantifiable outcomes. Reinstating homes create tangible evidence of the organization's vision becomes when it is transformed at a lasting change. Once families have shelter, another fundamental concern quickly comes into focus: consistent access to food. Food insecurity remains a significant issue in many different communities. Economic hardship forces many families to make inequitable choices of nutrition, health care, and education. The organization counters this pressure by distributing donated food supplies to the households in need, especially in times of high vulnerability. Food assistance works on the hand to cover the immediate needs of survival, and on the other hand, to provide strategic role in the stabilization of households. When families can have higher regular access to nutrition, they are better able to achieve longer term aspirations. This initiative is consistent with the overarching vision of the organization by ensuring that the provision of short-term relief support rather than endangering the long-term development. Late majority stakeholders are also frequent prominent of each program, which they are familiar, pragmatic, and demonstrably requisite. The initiative highlights reliability over experimentation, thus building confidence in the leadership of the organization. Food security and shelter are closely linked to health, making medical support another essential component of the vision. Accessibility to basic medical supplies is implemented to preventing small ailments from progressing into life-threatening states. The organization provides medical materials to counter common illnesses and strengthen community health efforts, and the efforts complement other initiatives through reducing of some of the preventable health risks and overall improvement of well-being. Food security and health support innovations are popular across stakeholders. Contingencies because of the recognition of their value. From an executive point of view, such initiatives strengthen credibility, demonstrating the organization's understanding of how interrelatedness to basic needs, energy, housing, food, health are not distinct issues, but interrelated parts of an integrated system. For skeptical stakeholders that are in the late majority and laggard groups, which can take a long time to be convinced of the value of the work, the use of observable health outcomes can reduce resistance by demonstrating responsibility and capability as opposed to abstract aspirations. Looking forward to immediate needs, looking beyond immediate needs, the organization also invests in the long-term potential of the next generation. Youth development is one of the organization's key components of the 5-year strategic vision. Barriers like transportation and a lack of school supplies are often the reason young people lack access to education. Bicycles and school uniforms distributed by the organization alleviate practical implements against regular attendance at school institutions. This initiative is an example of forward-looking leadership paradigm. Supporting education is an investment without whose benefits are accumulated over time. When viewed using the change management theory, educational initiatives can be used to bridge conducive to a sustained change. Early majority stakeholders tend to experience a sense of reassurance in these endeavors due to the way in which they are manifested as a sign of foresight, carefulness, and alignment with broadly endorsed society objectives. Over time, visual education outcomes may win over skeptical stakeholders by proving that the organization's vision has created long-term results. All of these initiatives are made possible through the leadership that is rooted in the local context. One of the salient strengths of the organization is that it is outside of the organization and has been resilient on the leadership of locals. Operations in Nigeria are being led by trusted leaders with an intimate knowledge of cultural context, community needs, and practical realities in terms of logistics. The decentralized approach has the advantage of increasing accountability, responsiveness, and reducing dependence on oversight from afar. Local leadership ensures that initiatives are not only welcomed but also embedded, which will also improve sustainability through capacity building within the community. From the point of view of innovation and adaptation, this approach helps to reduce resistance by grounding change in familiarity and already existing trust. Laggards, in particular, are more likely to adapt change when it is promoted by local, known, and respected figures in the community as opposed to external stakeholders. The leadership model promotes the vision of the organization by linking authority, proximity, and responsibility. Thank you.